Hey NASCAR fans, thanks for joining us here for the live chat with Martin Truex Jr. Thanks for taking the time out today. This is pretty easy. We got fans submitting questions online, and I'm going to have you answer them. Are you ready?
Sure.
All right, the first one is Gibbs fan 57 wants to know, what excites you the most about your team this year?
Well, that's a good question. A lot of things about my team excite me this year. Obviously, the job they've been doing is the biggest thing. Our Napa Toyotas have been fast each and every week, everywhere we've been this year, and the guys on pit road do an awesome job on pit stops. We haven't had any mistakes. They're very, very consistent. So, we've got great teammates. So many things about my team excite me, and everybody at Michael Waltrip Racing has done a great job and made it a lot of fun to come to the racetrack this year.
Do you have a favorite teammate? Are you allowed to pick?
I like both of them, Mark and Clint. I mean, we got Michael and Brian Vickers too, so we've got a bunch of teammates, but they've all been fun to work with.
Cool. Well, D Holcomb 444 wants to know, besides your own car, who else has a cool paint scheme this weekend?
I haven't seen everyone's cars for this weekend, but I did see walking through the garage, the 48 was red, white, and blue, and it was pretty cool looking.
It's very fitting for this weekend.
Yeah.
Budman 4415 wants to know, what are your chances of making the chase this year?
Oh, I think our chances are really great of making the chase. We're sitting tied for 5th in points right now, and we're almost halfway there. So if we can just keep doing what we've been doing, we should be in good shape.
Very cool. NASCAR fan 45 actually asked me, what is my favorite part about being Miss Sprint Cup? And I really love traveling and the race fans and, of course, hanging out with Martin Truex Jr.
Yeah,
but besides that, we were playing around with my phone before we got on camera. And we get all the coolest devices. I have my Samsung Epic 4G Touch, and I know you were saying that you like the big screen on it.
It's cool.
Yeah, you have your Sprint phone. We were talking about your iPhone.
Absolutely.
From Android, his iPhone.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to NASCAR.45 wants to know, how much would it mean to you if you got your next win and broke your streak in Dover?
That would be pretty crazy, to go back to the place where I started winning there, I mean, that's one of my favorite racetracks. I've won nationwide races there. It's always been a special track to me. So to be able to go back there and to go back to Victory Lane at Dover would be really, really cool.
All right, Legend 9 wants to know, do you watch the Indy 500 while waiting for the Coca-Cola 600?
I do. I always do. I'm a race fan just like everybody else. I enjoy watching races, the ones I'm not in, and usually we don't get to see the ending because a lot of times we're on our way to the track here, or we've got stuff to do here at the track for the 600, but we usually get to see most of it. I enjoy watching it. It's a cool race.
Before we got on camera, he had his radio. You were listening to some of your teammates on the radio while they're out there practicing. All right, James wants to know, which track do you think you'll have the best chance to win at this year?
Well, I think we've already passed 2 of them that we had a great chance to win at. We should have won at Kansas, and we had a good shot at winning last week in Darlington. But coming up, I definitely Dover in a few weeks. I mean, Charlotte's been an okay track for me, so I'm excited about the next 2 weeks, and it's fun racing here at home and all that goes along with that. But I still think Dover is my next big chance to get back to Victory Lane. It was Darlington. I really felt good going there, and we were right there, but didn't make it happen. So hopefully Dover.
All right, Checker Mania wants to know, do you think the new point system is making drivers more apprehensive about driving more aggressively?
No, I don't think so. I mean, having bad finishes has always been a bad thing. I mean, it's always hurt you in the points, no matter what the point system. I think the big thing is just the chase. Everybody wants to make the chase. That's what the sponsors want. And if you understand when the year starts, if you can just make the chase, it doesn't matter if you're 12th, you can have a shot at the championship. And that is a huge deal for everyone out here. That's what we're all here for, to win that championship. So everyone knows just how important it is to make the chase. And but I still don't think guys are apprehensive. I think guys are racing harder today every single lap of every race than any racing I've ever been a part of my entire life. Or short track racing where you're racing for a trophy and a couple $100. I mean, I've never seen guys honestly race as hard as we do out here every week. And everybody out here is just so good. I think that's why we're not seeing the cautions and guys wrecking, and it's just so competitive. The drivers are so on top of their game right now. They're definitely not laying down, that's for sure.
That's very true. All right, Dean145 wants to know, first off, his 10-year-old son is a big fan of yours.
Thank you.
And he says he has to admit he cheers for you as well.
That's awesome. Thank you.
I guess he doesn't want the divided household there. And he says he hopes that you not only make the chase, but that you win 1 or 2 races a season. I know you said you were hoping at Dover, possibly this weekend too for you. Next weekend for the 600. All right, Stacy Alba wants to know, how do you keep the momentum rolling in order to continue running well this year in order to make the chase?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is just staying focused. You know, you can never get complacent. You can never say, okay, our cars are good enough. You know, these setups are working. We're going to keep going back to them. You got to constantly keep working on your cars, come up with new ideas. And that's the good thing about having teammates and you know, all of the other crew chiefs at MWR. You know, Chad and Rodney and Brian Patty, all these guys work really hard together. They all share ideas, and so they've had a lot of neat brainstorming ideas and things this year. And our engineering department at Mike Walter Racing does a great job, and just keep throwing out new ideas. And it's important for us as a team to stay open-minded, to keep trying new things, and try not to get stuck in our ways.
All right, talking about Michael Waltrip Racing and your teammates, Jason here wants to know, Clint Boyer seems like a practical jokester. Has he pulled any good practical jokes on you?
He hasn't gotten me yet, so I don't know.
Have you gotten him?
I have not. No, I'm not a big prankster.
You're more serious?
I'm pretty serious when it comes to racing. You know, I mean, it is my job and all. So he hasn't gotten me yet, but if he did, I'm sure I could get him back.
We have to think of a good one to get him.
I don't like to start things like that.
Okay, then you have to deal with it.
You open that whole can of worms. It's just things get ugly from there.
All right, we'll play serious here. Kim Teach 88 wants to know, when did you start racing, and were you doing go-karts or what? And she says she's driving down from Delaware to see the Sprint AllStar race.
Oh, great. We'll have a safe trip down from Dover, and I started in karts. I was 11 years old, and I started racing at my local tracks in New Jersey.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, answer this one for me. What are the differences between coming home to race at Charlotte and going to race at Dover?
Ooh, not a lot different, to be honest. The only thing different is when we race here, I get to sleep in my own bed at night.
Closer commute to home.
Closer commute, for sure. Other than that, it's very similar.
So since we are in Charlotte for the next 2 weeks, we have the Sprint AllStar race this weekend and the Coca-Cola 600 next weekend. Do you do anything fun while you're here in Charlotte, since you're here for 2 weeks?
We do a lot of fun stuff, but most of it's work. You know, normally we travel around the country every other weekend, so our weeks are, I don't want to say not as busy, but we seem to have less to do. And these 2 weeks when we're home, it seems like our schedules are really full. You know, next week we have a big fan day coming up at Mike Waltrip Racing. I believe it's on Wednesday, which is a really fun time. But it's things like that to take up your time when you're in town. You know, I have a go-karting event. I think it's Thursday night, and no, the Thursday night's qualifying.
No, you've got Tuesday night.
Tuesday night, yeah. So, like, I have sponsor appearances, and we have a charity go-kart race for paralyzed veterans that we do at Victory Lane Karting next week. We've got a
But you always seem to be having fun, no matter what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's all fun. It's just, you know, it's busy.
It's still work,
it's
right?
It's busy time, yeah.
That's good, though. All right, let's do this one. What was your very first car? Super Stang 70 wants to know.
My first car was a Jeep. An 86 CJ7. I got it. It was actually like our hunting vehicle. My dad and I used to just take out in the woods and go hunt and stuff, so it was kind of a beater. It was kind of beat up. And so when I was like 16, I talked my dad into letting me have it. I said, Dad, when I get my license soon, can I take the Jeep?
Did he just say yeah, or did
he said no? He said sure. He said yeah.
He said
what? Yeah. He said yeah, absolutely. And then so when I was about 16, I started fixing it up. You know, jacked it up, put big tires on, all that fun stuff.
Do you still have it?
I do. It's still at my parents' house. Yeah.
Nice. You can pass it along.
Yeah.
When you have kids one day. All right, let's talk about this. How will the Sprint AllStar race help you prepare for the Coca-Cola 600?
It'll help in a lot of ways. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's like a test session, but it's actually even better because you're in race conditions. Mm-hmm. You know, you're out there racing against the other cars, and everybody's out there trying to do the best they can. So it's a great measuring stick for what you're going to see in the 600. And you have a week between races to work on things, so you can definitely learn a lot. You can try stuff. And really just try to learn what you can do to be better for the 600.
Talking about the Sprint AllStar race, Bill 45 wants to know, what is your favorite all-time moment of the Sprint AllStar race?
Oh, well, I would have to say probably 2010. We qualified in through the showdown, we won the showdown, and we ran second in the AllStar race. Wish it was a few more laps. We were the fastest car on the track at the end of the race, just needed a few more laps to get to the win. But that was pretty cool to make it through the showdown, to drive up all the way through the field and get second.
Having won the showdown, do you feel more nervous for the showdown this weekend?
No, I don't feel nervous at all for it. I feel good about it. I feel like we're going to be the car to beat, and we had a good practice today, and it's just one of those deals you never know what can happen, and there's no points involved, so really getting nervous, there's not really a whole lot to that.
Do you feel like the drivers, you guys drive more aggressively with no points involved? Because there's still that $1 million on the line.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, we talked earlier. It's the guys are going for it all the time.
Who's we?
We, everyone.
All the drivers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I really think that everybody is constantly trying to get all they can get, and obviously you might take more chances going for $1 million and get into somebody or something, or maybe knock somebody out of the way on purpose. But I'm telling you, these guys out here are good, and they're driving their hearts out every lap, no matter what the prize.
And I know family is important to you, but Johnny O wants to know, how fun is it to be working with your brother as he's developing his racing career?
Yeah, it's been really cool to be able to do that, and him moving down to North Carolina, he's a lot of his racing growing up he was doing back up in New Jersey, and so I'd been living down here since 2003, so we didn't get to spend a lot of time together until the past few years when he came down here to start running late model stock, and then getting into K&N series and in the Nationwide series and stuff. So it's been fun to hang out with him, help him out with his career, watch him progress as a driver, and really just spend some time with him at the house.
Does he come out to the tracks with you every weekend?
Not every weekend, but he comes to quite a few of them.
He'll be here this weekend?
No, he's home this weekend.
Oh,
yeah.
He's not rooting
He's
for
getting
you
ready
this
to go race at Dover, so.
Oh, okay, very cool.
We'll see him on the track in a few weeks.
Let's switch topics right now from racing, because Kim from Philadelphia wants to know, who are you rooting for now that your beloved Flyers
No one
are out of the playoffs?
Well,
It's a sensitive subject with you, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit sensitive, but I guess probably LA, because Jeff Carter and Richards, who were Flyers last year, play for LA now, and I know Carter pretty well. He's a little bit of a friend, and he's playing for the Kings, so I guess I'd have to go for them. And there's a chance that they may play the Devils in the Stanley Cup, so I definitely want them to beat the Devils.
All right, Bull Anderson wants to know, since Ron Capps has won this year in the Napa Funny Car, has he put any pressure on you to win in your Cup car?
Man, no, not really. I don't think so. Obviously we want to win, for Napa and for everybody there and all they've done for us. But, I feel really good about it. We're going to win a race soon. We should have won a few times already, and it just didn't work out. The circumstances were just not right. Things didn't fall in place. We've had the speed. We've done everything. Mm-hmm. I feel like we've done everything right to put ourselves in position to do it. So, we just got to wait for it to happen. And it's cool to see Caps win. He's a good guy, and they do a nice job. And I'm confident we're going to get the Napa car in victory lane this year too.
I have a question for you. Every time I watch the Aaron's commercial, they're pretty funny. I'm sure you guys have seen them.
Yeah.
Is that actually you singing?
You mean the Napa commercial?
Yeah.
Of course that's me singing.
Yeah?
Who else do you think it would be?
You have a good voice.
Thank you. Yeah, you like that.
All right, MWR.
I'm only kidding. It really isn't mine. I was
letting you go with that one.
I
wasn't going to call you out.
Totally Milli Vanilli.
All right, MWR 56 wants to know, who is the better Napa spokesperson, you or Michael?
I don't know. You answer that.
You really want to say you're better than your boss?
Sure.
All right.
I'm
Heard
better.
it here.
Yeah, I'm better. For sure, no doubt.
We'll just play that one. He's better. We won't tell Michael. All right, let's talk about this weekend. We already talked about your favorite Sprint All-Star moments. But what is the hardest part about this weekend as a whole, with the Sprint All-Star race being here, the showdown, you getting prepared?
Honestly, this is actually one of the easier weeks of the year.
Really?
Yeah, we talked about it being busy and having a lot to do, but, really, not having to get on an airplane and fly out of town for a couple days. Each day after we're done here at the track, I get to drive home and hang out at the house. We have Sunday off. So it's really an easy couple weeks. As far as the stress level goes, it's pretty low. And things don't ramp up really till next Saturday, getting ready for the 600, where it's really things start to get back to being really serious again. Big points race. You have to, you kind of put a lot of pressure on yourself and your team to do a good job. So this whole week, from Tuesday or Wednesday this week all the way through next Saturday are pretty good for me.
Easy week. So you said you have Sunday off. We all have Sunday off.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Probably hang out at the house. Out by the pool. Have some people
Relax.
over, just hang out and do some grilling. I like to grill and hang out by the pool and stuff.
What's your go-to item for grilling?
I'm a steak man, so I like to grill steaks. And of course, the women, they always like chicken, so I'll cook Sherry and her girlfriends, and all the ladies will get chicken.
Oh, you're
usually,
so kind.
But I'm a steak guy, so.
All right, we got to wrap it up here for our live chat. The last question's going to be, who did you look up to most when you were growing up in your racing career?
Definitely my father.
Okay.
He was an inspiration to me, not only because he was a great racer and he was, really, I enjoyed going to the track with him and watching him race and hanging out in the garage with him and learning stuff about racing from him, but to see how hard he worked during the week to just be able to do that, to raise a family, all the things he was doing, and he was really good at all of them. So he built a successful business, had fun racing as a hobby, was good at it at the same time, and he was a great dad too.
Very cool. I got to learn a lot more about you, and I'm sure you, the race fans, as well. Thank you for joining us, the fans and Martin. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And you guys have a great day.
Thanks, guys.